All right, welcome to the fourth and final review of the evening. Up this time is No Players Online. You find an abandoned FPS game on an old computer. You decide to play it. Um,
I think I know a half dozen creepypastas that start this way.
So about that.
yeah, this is another one of them, if we're being honest here. Because you find an old
Well,
computer,
this one's
someone left a
playable.
Yes.
yeah, someone left a file. You decide to open it. What lives in a dead game? Traverse the digital wasteland of a shooter game long abandoned. But don't let looks deceive you. The game is just a remnant distracting you from its real purpose. Um, Delve deep into a fully realized faux 90s desktop environment. Download games from obscure games forums. Search through files left by the previous owners and peel away at the digital layers to uncover the conspiracy of the mysterious Capture the Flag game. So, where to start with this? I would, um, right. So this game bills itself as a horror game, and I don't know, like this game is not remotely scary.
hmm
Like
No,
it's
no,
got
no big uh, jump scares
I
and
mean, there was
it's
eerie
kind
haunting
of
effects all the time.
one monster
yeah,
jump scare, but that's really it.
yeah, the thing that haunts the Capture the Flag,
Yeah.
uh, um, which by the way is the element that is retained from the original version of this, um, which was a freeware game put out about 2019, I believe.
Something like that.
Um,
Yeah.
but it was a much smaller version. But the core element of a abandoned um, capture the flag FPS game was there. It was really the only thing because this iteration has a lot more games attached to it. Um, I will also note that I think the year that they are trying to simulate is 1999 2000,
hmm
which is actually a bit later than where some of these faux 90s things try to aim.
Well,
Like,
the calendar,
What,
the
like this?
clock.
This is like Windows Millennium Edition instead of or 2000 instead of 95.
Well, the in-game clock says 95.
like maybe I read that wrong. Like, 99 would make more sense to me, though,
hmm
if for the abandonment of this capture the flag game. Um, Now, mind you, it was abandoned in terms of development. Um, because if you read the forum posts and all that, like it's still very much in development, but it's also like I had a problem with the actual game being used here. Like a capture the flag FPS. Like, I'm not sure if, like exactly when they started becoming standard FPS, like exactly what year, but it's not something that was like a game was ever built around. But I suppose it might make more sense as some some amateur game developers project in the mid 90s more than something with actual commercial application. To wit, this is a game mode, not a game to it into and of itself. But putting that aside, how do I put this? Like, whatever the merits of having it to be your centerpiece in a psychological terror horror game kind of deal, doesn't make the moment to moment experience that any more interesting. Like, it only gets interesting when the creepy stuff starts showing up. Actually, because otherwise, guess what? You're just walking around an empty map, not doing anything other than playing the game without any resistance. I.e., you're the only player. You still grab the flag. You know, once again, I get what they were going for. It's just, it's a bit dull until, the spooky shit started hitting. But the capture the flag stuff is just a part of it. Like, this game, very, like, I don't know if you can really call it meta game, because the meta game or the meta story is still within the game. And this is actually worth noting because in between this version and the original version, there was an alternate reality game that was built around the original version. Not sure if they are doing that here. Like, but my point is, in this version of the game, all of the metagame stuff is still within the program. At least as far as I got. Because I got stuck. But yeah, and there are more games.
Sorry.
In terms of, like, okay, they've got actual Minesweeper in this. And I think there's something if you complete it properly. And you might have to adjust some like, because there's a there's a, like, I don't want to say hexadecimal file, but there's a file that
Any
tells
file
you
basically
how many
for Windows people. You can edit in any file to basically cheat.
Yeah. The part I got up to was the soul fusing of the game programs,
Right.
which can actually go wrong.
Indeed.
Because I combined two of them and they burnt out. I wasn't sure if, like, at that point it had become unclear of what exactly I was supposed to be doing, and I ran out of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the other games is like Night Fishing 2, and there's no Night Fishing 1, and that's actually a story explained on this game developer forum.
Right.
And that kind of thing. And then there's this Kingsfield-esque dungeon crawler.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought it was at first. Like, oh, is this what Kingsville was supposed to be?
Like, something along those lines, but I think this one's a bit too action-oriented and fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I haven't played a Kingsfield game in decades, so... just I don't exactly know how to review this in objective terms. Bear with me, because this is quite unlike any game I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no stranger to faux retro stuff. Even stuff that's like emulating a technology of a certain age. It's just a bit unusual to see Windows 95 as opposed to like 80s DOS computer or something like that.
Right.
A Commodore 64. You know, but it's the combination of the desktop and the games that really stick out to me.
Right.
But it is important to note that the games are not really games in and of themselves. I guess outside of Minesweeper, because it is a legitimate game of Minesweeper.
Yeah.
But they're but even that, they're all supplications to the story and the lore that's being told here. Like, to it, the one of the big signs of progression is to get into the alternate accounts. You start as a guest, then you go through the capture the flag sequence that gets locked. Then you go into the guy, and then your ultimate goal here is to unlock the ladies account.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting, if nothing else. And yeah, honestly, in terms of horror, I think if you're into, like, as Alex mentioned, creepypastas, this is the best fit.
Yeah.
Um,
Honestly, it's more psych than just like actual scare you horror.
Yeah, we would call this terror or psychological horror,
Mm-hmm.
something that's ostensibly deeper, more about the atmosphere. But I got to be honest, this game isn't is pulling its punches in terms of like mid 90s Windows computer horror. To wit, I don't know if it is in the game, but I did not see one blue screen of death.
There kind of was for when you left the guest account.
Kind of, but not like, say, Eternal Darkness, how it did it there, where
Or like
where it simulated.
random. Yeah.
Yes, like, that's how fucking blue screens of death worked back in the day. People like you guys have no idea how stable Windows is today.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a problem that persisted.
There's a reason they used to have the hard power off switch more accessible.
Yeah. But that was something like, I remember Windows XP having that problem. Not to the extent of Windows 95 or, oh God, Windows Millennium.
Yeah.
That piece of shit. Combine it with Norton Utilities and destroy your hard drive in a few months. So, I suppose on the other hand, there is kudos to be had for not going for the cliched computer horror. Oh my God, I lost my save, and variants therein. But on the other hand, I find this game kind of creepy, but not scary. And I don't find it psychologically affecting either. I don't know. There's a disconnect in the verisimilitude somewhere, and I'm not exactly sure where, because all the pieces are here, but perhaps they're not assembled in the right way. Petty, you played some of the game as well. Anything you wish to add here?
I find the game, like, story-wise to be interesting. There are a lot of themes I'm not going to go into because that involves huge spoilers.
Right.
I'd say the game is worth looking into, but maybe with at least one of the spoiler-free guides that are floating around. Because there are, like, some guides that will show you, like, what you need to do without, spoiling the plot for you. And, like, they'll also show you, like, what's important and what's not. Or there are also just, like, some YouTube videos. But it's worth looking into.
Right. Though before you continue along that, pricing. So this game clocks in at $15. Like, I honestly don't know if that's it seems like a decent price at the very least. It might depend on what kind of horror you're looking for, because I will give it this. It's not another fucking indie horror game where you're fucking defenseless and you're hiding from a monster in a closet. I'm just kind of tired of that gameplay style. Yeah. But I can't deny that this game didn't grip me as much as I thought it would. But that may be in the realm of the subjective, because it's a very well put together piece of nostalgic, and it's a part of the 90s I'd rather revisit than last week's terror game.
Right.
So yeah, I'll go with a recommendation, but maybe watch some footage first, or just keep it under 2 hours to hit the refund if you're not into it, because this definitely comes across as the kind of game that's going to have niche appeal, because it's a niche of a niche. So I think that's about all I got for No Players Online here. Anything more from you guys?
No, not that I can think of.
I think I'm good.
All right, so that means we have reached the end of another installment of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. Coming up on the week ahead, on Wednesday, April 4th, we'll be welcoming Jean-Pierre of Crimson Cloud Games. So let me see here. They have a number of projects either in development or released. In fact, I just got sent some stuff here. But we'll be talking about Ashes of the Damned and On the Ball, I believe that, among others. So look forward to that. No Friday show. We do have a new episode of MSP, and I don't know. I genuinely don't know what Mac's status this week is.
Yeah.
Because he chimed in a couple of days ago, and apparently he's in violation of some notices or something like that. Like, genuinely, I don't know if it's something that requires a fine or if it's something that's gone to bench warrant. So I'm assuming Mac's going to show up on Wednesday, but once again, his life has conspired to make his status murky. Anyway, until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.